Excuse my voice, colleagues. I wanted to start by just saying a couple general things because last night I think there was a lot of us calls with folks, people who talked to us, and saying, wait a second, you guys gutted what this was all about. I fundamentally disagreed with that analysis, but I also wanted to listen to it and listen to the details of what people's criticisms were and to understand what it was they thought was missing. To quote unquote have one's lunch handed to them and to have this gutted would have been to accept something, for instance, the DWP wrote, or would have been to not have anything on the ballot at all, or to have a commission that would look at potential reform. This was never that. So we can agree to disagree about what percentage of the potentially strongest language and elements were in this, but my intention yesterday on 11B was to make sure that the overwhelming core, 90% of what we were going after, was protected in there. But I heard what people said. I met this morning Mr. Smith and Ms. Perry and I, and we have a motion here. We ran it by some of the folks who were the first advocates of having a ratepayer advocate and of having strong, accountable governance reform at DWP. And I think we all have a consensus that a couple changes should be made today to ensure that we have as strong as possible and as independent as possible analysis of what is going on inside the department. That is that's 44A, that is before you, that Ms. Perry, Mr. Smith, and I introduced today. Let me walk through what it was. One thing that people said had been gutted out was that the employee of the Office of Public Accountability, the names that were in there were taken out. So this puts back in ratepayer advocate and additional positions as prescribed by ordinance. As I said yesterday, and as I still maintain, we will be able to have a strong implementing ordinance that will back up the strong charter vote that finally gives people the analysis that they deserve from DWP and of DWP rates. Secondly, we have G here, which substitute the original G and put something that I've also agreed with Chuck, Ray, and other people who have said, let's put a specific number in there. I know we heard from some charter reform staff, former charter reform staff, that we should put a specific number in, but I hear and have heard loud and clear that without a number in there, that might go away. Now, I didn't believe that it would because we're still legally liable to have in the resources necessary, but why not spell that out? We had been criticized by another, I think it was an editorial in the Daily News, saying when it was at 0.1%, that's $4 million in a bureaucracy. 0.025%, colleagues, was about $1 million. We spent last year 1.6 on rate analysis. That's just with PA Consulting and Huron. So when we look at this, this is a responsible floor. We've always said it's a floor. We need the resources necessary, so it can be more, but this spells out what that would be. Those two things get us to where we want, and what we take very seriously, that this should be independent, that it should be accountable, that it should have the resources that can't be taken away by the political whims, that it not be created by or launched by the department that it seeks to do analysis of, and that it isn't just resting in a political office. Those were the principles, the strength of this. I think today we have that, and we've amended the ordinance to reflect that as well, that is before us, so that we can vote. And I want to thank Ms. Perry and Mr. Smith. I know it didn't sit easy with them either yesterday, and in listening to that, I hope that we have captured what we want to see, and we can only win this if we do this together. There will be those who are opposed to yesterday's and who will be opposed to today's, but they are standing in the way of reform, and we have to make sure that we get reform for our businesses and our residents to finally have a department they can be proud of again. Thank you.